Get excited, Sub-Zero fans, because after the recent update, Sub-Zero has the second highest meterless damage in the game, and also one of the best setups in the entire game as well. There's never been a better time to play Sub-Zero, so if you love this character, then please leave a like down below and subscribe so you never miss any future videos. And without any further ado, let's begin. So first up, we have the overhead. This attack got changed in a big way, and I did not notice it at first when reading the patch notes, because all it said was this move cancels 1 frame sooner and is active for 1 frame longer, and I thought, well, why is that a big deal? That seems like a very tiny change. However, as it turns out, those 2 tiny changes give you a brand new combo route with Sub-Zero. So originally, his bread and butter combo looked a little something like this. A little over 30% with no meter and no cameo, which is actually a bit above average. Meter damage for Sub-Zero is bad, but meterless he does pretty good. But as mentioned earlier, things got even better because this overhead is active for 1 more frame and also cancels 1 frame sooner. He can do it twice at the start of the combo and then continue the rest like normal. And the end result is a new combo that does more damage, which is fantastic. Check this out. Almost 35% damage for no cameo and no meter spent. This means Sub-Zero is now the second highest damage character when it comes to no meter. And in case you're curious, Omni-Man holds the #1 spot. He gets easily 40% for no meter and no cameo, which is crazy and a bit of an exploit. The combo itself also looks weird too, but isn't that difficult if you practice it, and I hope that NetherRealm does not patch this because Omni-Man's supposed to be strong, right? It's canon. But I digress. Sub-Zero is now right behind Omni-Man when it comes to meterless damage, and it's all thanks to this tiny change to his overhead. And I know what you're thinking, this overhead is extremely unsafe. Well, the good news is, with certain cameos, you can hit confirm into it, like Serena for example. And I know Serena is cliche at this point, everyone plays Serena, but don't forget, these 2 characters won a tournament. That's right, a Sub-Zero player won a tournament using Serena. And that's because her overall kit complements him really well. Her single throw projectile is great for counter zoning, she can drain the opponent's meter as well, which is fantastic because once again, Sub-Zero has really high meterless damage. So even though it is cliche to have Serena as a cameo partner, she's also a really good match for Sub-Zero. And as mentioned earlier, she makes sure you don't have to do this overhead raw. Instead, you can hit confirm into it, and here's what that damage looks like. Check this out. Oh baby, we're now getting almost 40% and still no meter spent and only 1 cameo summon, and look at that, she's already completely refilled and ready to go again. That's really good damage, and you don't have to risk doing the overhead raw. And don't forget about Sub-Zero's low mix-up. What does that combo look like? Well, here we go. Ooh, we're still getting 38%, so only 1 or 2% less damage. That's not a big deal at all for a low mix-up. But now just for fun, let's say the opponent does something really risky, like a wake-up armor attack, or just a YOLO special move that's super unsafe on block and you predict it. In that scenario, you can block the opponent and then start the combo with this, and check out the damage again. Once again, there is no meter being spent, which is incredible. And look at this, we've reached 40% damage for just 1 cameo who's already completely refilled and ready to go, and also no meters spent. Yeah, Sub-Zero does damage now, one of the best meterless damage characters in the game. Now with all that said, unfortunately his damage goes down if you spend meter now. Before, the damage was barely any more if you spend bar, so still not worth it, but now in most situations his damage actually goes down if you spend meter, which is honestly quite ridiculous. NetherRealm needs to fix this. I'm gonna be honest, I think Sub-Zero is a good character, but this needs to get fixed. You should never get less damage for spending meter in your combo. That makes 0 sense. In fact, it makes Sub-Zero sense, okay? NetherRealm, you've got to fix this. Actually, I did find 1 combo that does more damage with meter than without. It's not a huge difference, but it's something. And I haven't seen it on YouTube yet. Okay, but how about in the corner? For anyone not aware, Sub-Zero can actually do 3 overheads in the corner, and as a result, his damage has always been higher. But after this update, does he get more damage in his combos? The answer is actually yes, and that's because his ice clone only costs 1 bar now if you want to leave all 3 clones on the screen, and then on top of that, the opponent actually hits all 3 of them like they're supposed to. For anyone not aware, there was a brief period where the opponent would hit 1 of these and then the rest would just not connect like they're supposed to, so they didn't combo. But now finally that's been fixed, and as a result, Sub-Zero's new corner combo looks like this if you have bar. 36% for 1 bar of meter, not too bad. I mean, it's not great either, right? 1 bar of meter for just 2% more damage doesn't really seem worth it. You're probably better off just saving that meter for combo breaker, but even so, this is a new combo route worth mentioning. However, once again, the meter burn combos are a bit weird. If you start the combo with a hit confirm into Serena, then I recommend not spending any bar at all, whether it's on Deadly Vapors or the Ice Clone, just don't do it. And that's because the overall combo damage will actually be less if you spend the bar for some reason. You're better off spending no meter whatsoever to get more damage. Once again, makes no sense. NetherRealm, fix this, please. It's one thing for a character to be low tier. I can accept that, because at the end of the day, I still get tons of wins with Sub-Zero, but I draw the line at stuff that makes no sense, like spending bar and getting nothing for it. If you really do want to maximize damage, then just call Serena twice. That's the way better investment. Do something like this. I think the jump-ins might actually reduce the combo damage. I'm not actually sure. 1 second. I'll test it. So if we do this, we're actually getting over 42%. Nope, not quite. Just under 42%. This time, I'm not going to do the jump-ins because I think NetherRealm actually nerfed jump-ins recently. I think they reduced the combo for some dumb reason. I think that was a stealth nerf that we weren't told about. And look at that, yeah, now we're getting almost 43%, so don't even do the jump-ins, that's my bad. Jump-ins mid-combo with Serena now do less damage. No clue why, but that's where we're at, so now you know. Alright, but so far we've only been talking about damage, which is a big deal, but what comes next is an even bigger deal. Sub-Zero's Ice Clone has been buffed in a lot of ways. So for example, the regular meter burn now does 1 Ice Clone, but it stays on screen for much longer than the regular Ice Clone. Let's do a count. 1, 2, and it's gone. Here's the EX. 1, 2, 3, 4. So almost twice as long, which is a very big deal actually, because now you can throw the opponent into your Ice Clone. That's right, just like Mortal Kombat X, Sub-Zero now gets a full combo off his Ice Clone, which makes him one of a kind. I don't think any other character in this game can combo off their back throw without a cameo assist. The combos might not do very much damage, but remember, it starts off with an unblockable, which is a great mix-up. However, if you press block after activating the Ice Clone, you create all 3, and this can be good in some situations for squeezing out a tiny bit of more damage or just laying down a giant wall the opponent can't get past. But here comes the crazy part, and I'm not sure if it's worth the meter, but still it's a new option that Sub-Zero has. You can do the meter burn Ice Clone and then press block again to get all 3 of the Ice Clones, and now they last for twice as long. Or in other words, you get the duration of the regular EX, but with the benefit of having all the extra clones of the extended EX, if that makes sense. You get the best of both worlds. More clones, but also they stay on screen for twice the amount of time. Once again, I can't say if it's worth the meter or not for sure. It's too early to say, but I still think it's a really cool option to have, especially in the corner. You can do stuff like this and just lock the opponent down pretty well. Alright, but now it's time for topic number 3, and this might be the craziest change, and it's not mentioned in the patch notes. If you freeze the opponent with an Ice Clone, look how long they stay frozen for. That is much longer. Before, you barely had time to even jump at the opponent. Now you can jump, land, and then teabag if you want to. There's plenty of extra time. And you might be wondering why that's a big deal. Well, let me switch to Kung Lao and you're gonna see why. Kung Lao plus Sub-Zero is arguably the best cameo team up you can do. And that's because every time you combo the opponent and end with Ice Clone, you can do this. Summon Kung Lao, move in, neutral jump, and then boom, hard to blockable. The opponent has to guess between low and overhead here, and the timing is so tricky, it's almost impossible to block this setup. And then on top of that, if the opponent goes for an armor move, they're gonna lose because look at that, it's 2 hits. This setup beats every single wake up in the game if timed correctly. Or in other words, every single time you combo the opponent with Sub-Zero, you can do a guaranteed hard to block setup that nobody can escape. They have to guess every single time. At the casual level, this is completely unfair. At the online competitive level, this setup is still really overpowered and tough to deal with. And then even at the tournament level, it's going to work quite often, I can guarantee you. Because once again, this setup is not only hard to block, but it beats every single armored wake up in the game if timed correctly. Or to put it a different way, Sub-Zero's become a much better character. He's now definitely better than Scorpion, I can say that with certainty. In fact, you could argue that Sub-Zero is now mid-tier or even in the mid to high tier area if played correctly, because once again, every single touch leads to a guaranteed setup that the opponent has to deal with. There's no way out. So when you take that information and combine it with the fact that Sub-Zero also has the second highest meterless damage in the game, I think he's become quite a threat now. I think he's finally a scary character. Don't get me wrong, his meter burn combos still need a buff 100%. The Ice Clone or Deadly Vapors, one of the two needs to be better, because as mentioned earlier, his combo damage can actually go down when using these moves, which is ridiculous and unacceptable. However, even so, I think the recent update has made Sub-Zero a much scarier character. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Is Sub-Zero finally a great character, or does he still need some buffs? Grab that keyboard and make your voices heard. And then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.